start off, we had a big storm that it came through in the morning, and ultimately it came down to the point where, you know, we were like, hey, you know, how long is this going to take? And it ended up taking a couple of hours. So ultimately for us, we were like, you know, just waiting around, trying to see. And I was really worried about that storm because, you know, a lot of times when I've seen a lot of big storms happen in the fall, it really messes with the topwater bite. And I love throwing a buzzbait. Everybody knows that. And so I was a little bit like, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm probably going to catch them like on spinnerbait, crankbait, stuff like that. A typical fall pattern. So once we got out there, you know, I ran around and I just couldn't get anything going. And I finally got a couple bites towards the end of that first period that clued me in that they would still bite a topwater. And that was really the big thing. I caught a couple fish on a buzzbait, lost one and caught one. So it was only like, you know, it really wasn't like a big deal, but it gave me a little confidence going in that second period. After I got those couple bites, I started running around and fishing. The thing was, the Fort Gibson is real high. And it wasn't like crazy high out of its banks, but there was a lot of flooded vegetation. And so anywhere you had an opportunity where the bushes and everything were like broken up, or you had a flat of bushes, you know what I mean? They had to be the right depth. And so like 2 to 3 foot of water seemed to be perfect. 1 to 2 foot of water. So those fish could actually get on the outskirts of that, and they were ambushing a lot of the shad. You know, everybody knows in the fall, these fish are start to transition into the creeks, trying to get into those flats and sort of set up and try to feed on a lot of that bait. And that's exactly what they were doing, but it took a little while to figure that out. And so I ran a lot of water, caught them on a lot of those isolated bushes, isolated trees that were on some of the campgrounds and some of those places that there wasn't as many trees, you know, and that sort of gave me, you know, a little bit of something there. But then that third period, that's when things really started to kick up. So I think the biggest thing is you know, if we go back to Fort Gibson, I feel like, you know, the lake's up, and if that tends to play, then I can probably sort of take my pattern that I have on that body of water to the next round, you know. And I think that's something that really helps you just sort of get an idea in the fall. Those fish are set up, you know, all that flatter stuff, and so I'll probably look for that. But the problem is you just never know where you're going to go. You know, there's so many different lakes around here. You know, with it being so tough, I think you have to. My biggest thing is I have to start out fast. You know, this round I did not. You know, and you probably won't get that third period at all. And so for me, I know I have to land on them. Sundeath is such a fun round, but it's the most stressful round in Major League Fishing because you know ultimately that you have to land on them. You have to make a good decision. You have to normally fish the obvious stuff to give you an idea, and then try to dial it in from there.
Okay, any day you can beat this crew right here, it's a feat. There ain't no doubt. We ended the day in the #1 spot. Hopefully we can carry this momentum throughout the event.